What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to NFL Turf Talk. I am one half of your host here, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter at DylanJD98. My co-host to my right, Scotty. Check him out on Twitter as well at Scotty Drown. Pretty sure that was Mama Scotty popping in the background, saying what's up before we get started here live on
She got the
DSM
coffee
Media.
in.
There you go, bro. Right to your hand. There you go. Adam, good morning, buddy. What's going on? Guys, you know the drill. If you're new to the channel, head on over to at DSM_media on Twitter. Hit that follow button, and then you can check out our link tree in our bio. It'll take you to every social media platform we are available on. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, that's the best way to go to get involved in the show like so. If you want to ask us questions, get involved in the conversation, we can pull your comments up right on the screen, but you have to go over to our YouTube or Facebook channel for that. Scotty, my guy, what's going on, and how's Maryland?
Hey
Back
man,
home for a
yeah,
little bit.
it's cool, man. We were moving my fiance's mom yesterday, so that was tough. It was hot out. You know, nobody wants to do a move in the middle of the summer, but
No.
we got that done, and today's a more chill day, so probably do some water activities and really relax. But yeah, man, definitely. Just as far as the YouTube thing, definitely head over there because I saw now. Because I always pull the show up, just have it playing in the background, make sure everything's running right on the outside end, and you can like play the videos and go away from YouTube now. Like they allow you to leave YouTube, and they do it like where they keep the video up in the corner of your phone screen. So
Okay.
like now you don't have to stay on YouTube
On
to
the
like
app.
watch YouTube videos
Yeah.
without like paying. You don't have to pay for it
Right.
now. So that's nice.
Oh, that's
But
very cool. I did
definitely
not
head
know
over
that.
there and subscribe, guys. We're building up over there. It's awesome.
Yes, sir, guys. We appreciate every single one of you that subscribe and like this video. Let's get to it, buddy. On today's show, we're going to be breaking down, there's no other way to put it, the toughest, best division in football with quite
100%.
possibly the best division of quarterbacks in NFL history, 1 through 4
NFL
across the
history.
board.
Yeah.
Like, I know Derek Carr, we'll get to that conversation. He's fringe top 10. He's probably more around that 12 area at the moment with the potential to be top 10 this year. When have you ever had 4 top 10, like solidified, basically top 10 quarterbacks? 3 of them are probably top 7 or 8 in the league right now. This is going to be incredibly fun, but difficult to break down. So we're going to go through their passing offense, rushing offense, rush defense, and pass defense. But before we get to that, let's start with our Philadelphia Eagles. We're just going to gloss over some of these training camp notes that really stick out to us, Scotty. And listen, man, as expected, the defense is getting the better of the offense the last couple of days. Defense is always ahead of the offense. Even the first couple of weeks of the regular season, it seems to be that way for every team every single year. But with that being said, I want to start off by reading a tweet from ESP. I know it's ESP, but just tell me, I'm not reacting to it like it's a huge negative, but tell me this isn't the most Philadelphia Eagles defense, John Gannon defense tweet you've ever heard. First team O versus first team defense yesterday. 3rd and 3, sack. 3rd and 5, incompletion. 3rd and 7, incompletion. 3rd and 9, first down. 3rd and 11, first down. Just tell me that's not the most John Gannon Eagles defense tweet you could put out there. 3rd and 5 or closer, we're good.
Right.
3rd and long, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. Like,
he doesn't know what to do.
I'm not reacting to it. I'm joking, but
it
just caught my eye this morning when I saw the tweet, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go again, right?
That's so Jonathan Gann. That's so like what we went through last season, and you take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, it's from ESP. It's just training camp. We're like what, the 3rd day now, or whatever, second or 3rd day. Yeah, obviously you take it with a grain of salt, but it is hilarious. It's just the way that like went down.
So, speaking of the defense being ahead of the offense, this is the main part that that everybody's going to be discussing throughout training camp and throughout this year is Jalen Hurts, right? That's where the eyes go when you're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles' success. Had a very good first day of training camp, better than his first day of camp last year. And then Phil, who commented up above, me and him were talking about how important it is for him to stack good days, stack positive days in a row in camp. And it seems like over the last 2 days, he has not stacked positive days. He had a very good first day, and the last 2 days have been a little bit subpar. But just what are your thoughts on how Hurts, the notes you've seen from Hurts so far, the reports coming out of camp?
So I'm not like concerned or anything like that. Obviously, it's very early in camp. You got AJ Brown, who's just a monumental piece added to the offense, and I think that you gotta get some of these guys ingrained in the offense to see how everything's going to play out. And a lot of what I've been reading about Jalen Hurts so far is just that he is, yes, he's been inconsistent, but he is also trying like things that are out of his comfort zone, things that he struggled with last season, throwing to the left side of the field. I think I heard there was one play where he threw a ball that was like really, really short. I can't remember if it was Devontae Smith or if it was Goddard. I think it was Goddard because it like reconnected that disconnect that I have in my head between Goddard and Hurts. But I think it's good that he's doing it early and he's trying to make those throws and get these throws down, get these connections down. And as training camp moves along, we'll start to see, hopefully, get some consistent days. But you are right, and what you and Phil discussed, that's absolutely correct. You have to build consistent days in order to build that confidence, because we don't want those games like against Dallas on primetime night where he looks like a deer in headlights, or against the Bucs in the playoffs where he comes out and was just really rocky in that first half and we couldn't get anything done and all of a sudden the game's over. So you want to prepare for those situations, and he does need to build that confidence up.
So a few things. I think what you said is really important. He's trying different things, trying things he isn't great at yet, and that's what training camp's all about. Another thing is, and I said this before day one of practice, whatever he does, positive, negative, it's all mush to me. It means this, right? Yeah. But you would like to see more positive than negative, if we're being honest. And George is checking in. Nah, dude, I wasn't being literal talking about that. I was just saying it's funny because you think back to the Eagles defense last year, or even the year before that with Jim Schwartz and the Sticks defense, and just you just see them 3rd and 3, stop, 3rd and 5, stop, but you get the 3rd and long, first down, and it was a funny tweet. But
I'm excited. I think George, I think I could speak for Dylan here. We're both excited for Jonathan Gannon. We've had our battles with him, but as these rumors have come out over the offseason, people do the players do love Jonathan Gannon in this scheme, and they trust it. So like we're gonna ride with it.
I think another funny thing that came out 2 days ago in camp, that had a lot of overreaction on social media and for Eagles Twitter, was the fact that he had Hassan Reddick dropping back in the coverage here and there, and people lost their minds. Again, you mentioned Hurts doing things he's not great at yet, working through things. That's what training camp is all about. Stop overreacting to a linebacker dropping back in coverage for 4 snaps here and there throughout the 3rd or 2nd day of training camp. That's what they're there to do. See what he's good at, see what he's not good at, experiment with things. He is a line, like, I know he's going to be rushing off the edge, probably Scotty, 97% of the time. Right. That does not mean Hassan Reddick should never, ever, ever drop back in the coverage. And, dude, people lost their minds.
They did, yeah.
I couldn't believe it. That's how you know football season's back in Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's like such a reach, man. And, the thing about Hassan Reddick, it's like you mentioned, trying new things, putting people in places where they're uncomfortable in order to make them comfortable in them. But, like, we already know Hassan Reddick can rush the quarterback. We already know he can do that. He needs to get out there and work in some of those zones, some of those drop back coverages. There's going to be games down the line this season where maybe, Taylor, maybe he gets injured. Maybe TJ Edwards gets injured. Maybe, Nakobe Dean's out for a game. Maybe Hassan Reddick has to play in a linebacker spot where he has to drop into coverage, and he has to be ready for that. So I don't mind these. I don't mind Gannon. I don't mind Sirianni. I don't mind them getting these guys ready for multiple
Dude,
situations. I think it's
this
good
was
for 'em.
this wasn't even like the first or second preseason game and they experimented with it and people freaked out. These are reports out of day 2 of practice in training camp and everyone's heads rolled. I couldn't believe it, but
It's
like I
crazy.
said, it just means that football's back and I guess that's an
We're
exciting
excited.
time. Um George says, if Reddick does not drop back into coverage, what do you think that will signal to the opposing offense?
These comments are hilarious.
Yeah, there's Kent. Yeah, dude, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it in Philadelphia. They should just all do what they're already good at on day 2 of training camp, and that's that. Not much else, I don't think, to really put. I mean, there's one other thing. The whole Miles Sanders versus Kenny Gainwell debate before training camp even started. There was a lot of Eagles fans on social media that already think, this should be Gainwell's, job, or he should get more carries and more snaps than Miles Sanders. Second day of practice, apparently Sanders ran a couple reps with the second team, something he didn't do last camp. So it caught people's eye. Sirianni was asked about it, basically shut that down, said Sanders is our guy. Sanders got a little testy with some of the reporters when they brought it up to him, and he got a little irritated, it seemed like, with them. But what are your thoughts there with the running back situation? We know it's going to be by committee. We know neither guy's going to have more than,
Right.
I don't know, what would a cap be for 14 carries for Miles Sanders? Somewhere around there, probably.
14,
He's a
15
cap.
carries.
Right. No one's going to have more than that. So again, this is something that really doesn't even mean a lot to me. Like, both of them are going to be running with the first
Yeah.
team. Both of them are going to get decent playing time. And it's what you make of those opportunities if you're Miles Sanders, because this is a huge year for him. I guess that's why it has a lot of people's attention, because this is a contract year for him. The Eagles could certainly decide to move on after this season. So he's going to need the ball to either give the Eagles a reason to keep him on or
Exactly.
show someone else what he can do next for heading into next season.
And that's kind of the biggest conundrum of the off season for me. I know there's a couple different position battles on the offensive line, some linebacker position battles, but that position battle at running back, and I don't even know if it's really a battle. Like you said, they're gonna run the ball by committee, so they're both gonna get carries. But it is interesting because I think we all agree. Most Eagles fans I run into know that Miles Sanders has there was a time where we thought he may have elite talent, and I still think there is elite talent in there. It just is so inconsistent with Miles Sanders, and I think that's the main issue with him. Staying on the field, staying healthy, catching the football is another thing. He was bobbling passes, I heard, on the first day of camp. And Gainwell provides that stability. He's the complete opposite. So he's more that guy that stays in between the tackles. He runs straight up the field. He's kind of a bruiser at times. He keeps his head down. He's a downhill runner. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. So there's two ways this could go for me, because it is a Miles Sanders contract year, but you also know Howie knows that too, right? And Howie knows that if Miles Sanders has some breakout season, there's no way you're bringing him back, if Howie even plans to bring him back.
Right.
On the other side of things, with it being a contract year for Miles Sanders, you could run him into the ground, and if you're not planning on signing him back, who cares? You have Gainwell coming in next season, and maybe you roll with him, bring in another young running back. I'm honestly a true believer in not paying running backs. I know we can that's a whole other conversation.
No, I agree.
Miles Sanders hasn't earned a contract in my eyes, especially a lucrative one that I would imagine that he's going to want. So to be honest, I don't know if Miles Sanders is in the future for the Eagles. I don't know if maybe that's something that comes up around the trade block line. But at the same time, all it takes is one injury, Gainwell to get banged up. And even with Game, you don't want Gainwell to be your only running back, like George.
No, George brings up a great
Not a
point. I 100% agree.
come on.
Not at all. No, Kenny Gainwell is the definition of
And
a dual threat, change of pace kind of running back, get the ball in his hands, playmaker, get him out of the backfield, stuff like that. He is 110% not, to me, like, he's not a starting running back. Like, I don't think
Agreed.
Miles Sanders shouldn't be a 3-down back either. But to me,
Right.
Miles Sanders is RB1. Gainwell is a change of pace, get the ball in his hands out of the backfield,
Yeah.
stuff like that for me. I do not want to see Gainwell out there
Because the thing
first
about
down, second down.
Sanders, he can break one off at any time. We've seen that
For
throughout his
sure.
career. He can
And
break it off
Gainwell has
for
that
any
ability
guard.
as well, but yeah, I just think this is another thing that's kind of getting blown out of proportion by fans. They're ready to move on already. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, if week 1 comes around and Miles Sanders pops one for 65, are you going to be singing the same tune, or are you
Exactly.
going to be saying, right, Miles Sanders is back? Miles Sanders is back, right?
And
That's what
and
they hear.
that's my thing now is like I know we get on here, we're gonna break down the Eagles every single week. We're gonna break it down
Yeah.
to the skin and bone. But just building these guys' confidence, like I want these guys to be focused on the field, and I hate that Miles Sanders is having to deal with this already.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, these guys on this team, there's guys that are built different. You look at Rager, you look at Miles Sanders. These are guys that are affected by fans and the way they're responding, the way they're acting. Whereas Jalen Hurts, I don't worry about him as much. It doesn't seem like he pays attention to that type of stuff. So I'm just hoping to get through camp, keep everybody composed and together. One last thing I wanted to throw in there, just as far as what I saw as well, just James Bradbury. Everybody's been hyping him up, saying he's been playing outstanding. That's going to be a hell of a duo with him and Slay. So I'm excited for James Bradbury. And then Avante Maddox apparently had a spectacular interception on Jalen Hurts. So I'm excited for that quarterback trio, actually, I should say. Not even just the duo. I'm
Not
excited
even the duo.
that trio, man. But
I agree. And apparently Marcus Epps already has, again, it's training camp, but Marcus Epps already has a couple picks as well. I'm not a Marcus Epps guy just quite yet.
Not yet.
But we'll see. There's some people that think he can step in and be one of the starters on this team. I guess we'll find out soon enough. I don't love, again, 2-3 practices means nothing, but I'm pretty sure Kayvon Wallace has ran with the first team like 2 to 3 days. From what I've seen before heading into this year, he would be about safety number 4 at the moment for me. Like if you're talking Ant Harris, I know he's out at the moment. Tart, I would have ahead of him. Epps, I would even put ahead of him. But we'll see. And George is on board with Marcus Epps. I hope so.
Yeah, there's a lot of people backing him. I mean, Gannon has spoke highly of him. Malcolm Jenkins has even spoken highly of him from retirement. I'm excited to see what Epps could do. He's made plays here and there. Obviously, he's had growing pains in the past, just like everyone else. But I did hear. I was reading through Jimmy Kempski's from the Voice, the Philly Voice. I was reading his training camp notes, and he did say that Kayvon Wallace's stock is kind of plummeting right now. They were working him with the ones, and he's slowly being moved out of that. So it sucks for him because he came for that pedigree. Clemson, everybody was hyping up Kayvon Wallace. Brian Dawkins, Weapon X. That was the first mistake.
Well, that was our problem. That was everybody.
Yeah, that was our fault. But that it is what it is. Hopefully these safeties pan out if we're not going to go after Jesse Bates.
100%, man. But all right, let's move on from Eagles camp talk and get into this AFC West breakdown and prediction part of the show. This is going to be extremely difficult, extremely fun. Because like I said, to me, it is the best division in football. I really don't think it's close anymore. The NFC West last year and 2 years ago was highly competitive with all 4 of those teams. Seahawks, not so much anymore. You don't know what you have in Trey Lance now. You have issues in Arizona and D-Hop suspended. So we already broke down that division. This is 1 through 4 across the board. We're going to try to predict it. You really don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea what can play out in this division. And now with 3 wild cards, like, dude, they won't, because they obviously have to see each other, 6 times. But so they'll be beating up on each other, and that's losses here and there for each team. But you could potentially, for the first time ever, see 4 AFC West teams in the playoffs. You won't. I'll predict 3. I really do think there's a strong possibility you have 2 of the 3 wild cards come out of the AFC West. So we'll see. But let's get into some of these key additions and losses. Just glossing over the big ones. Obviously, you have the trade from Green Bay. Devontae Adams gets sent to the Las Vegas Raiders, gets the team up with Derek Carr. Russell Wilson obviously lands in Denver with the Broncos, which again makes that quarterback room in this division so amazing. Chargers are saying, okay, we have our quarterback. How do we stop the other quarterbacks in this division? They go out, sign Khalil Mack to put across from Joey Bosa. They go out, they get J.C. Jackson. That's a big pickup in their secondary. Obviously, after moving on from Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs needs a replacement. They go out, grab two in Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. A lot of movement in this division, dude.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of big movement, just as far as names. And you've already mentioned a lot of them. Even the Chiefs, you look at, you mentioned Tyreek Hill. They also lose Tyrann Mathieu, the leader of their defense. They lose Charvarius Ward, who was a top corner for them. So it's interesting. And, as we get through like a lot of these rankings and talking about this division, I still have a ton of respect for the Chiefs, man. And, it's so weird for me right now where we're at because arguably outside of the quarterback position, I don't even know if it's arguable. The other three teams have better weapons, it feels like. Now, Travis Kelce is still there, so I'm putting respect on that. I'm not trying to, drag the Chiefs. And ultimately, you'll see where I have them ranked as far as a passing offense. But it's going to be interesting to see all these moving pieces added in there and how they fit around Patrick Mahomes. But if there's anybody that can handle that, I would say it's going to be Patrick Mahomes, who has all the talent in the world. So it's interesting, man. The Chiefs have been the powerhouse in that division. It's almost brought it to the point where all these other teams are chasing the Chiefs. So now they've built powerhouses and they've done it the right way. And it seems like all three of these teams have had a bit of luck go their way as far as transactions and who they've been able to bring in. It's gonna feel as if, when we're going through these rankings, as if we're disrespecting certain people and it certain teams. It's gonna be weird because all of these teams are good. And you talked about
that's the problem, right?
They're all playoff worthy. They are four teams that are four of the best teams in the NFL, in my opinion. And I think they do belong in the playoffs. It's not going to happen, so it's going to suck. But
that's the thing. We have to sit here and rank these, offenses and these defenses 1 through 4. Somebody has to be 4. So when I start out and I go, oh, the Broncos are 4th here, it's not a bad thing. Like with all the other divisions we've done, you've had the Texans, you've had the Lions, right? You had the Seahawks. Those were 4s because they're legitimate 4s. They lack talent. They don't have much. These are 4s that would be number 1s and 2s in other divisions. So this is going to be a lot of fun, but very difficult, like I said. So let's start it off, man, and let's get into these offensive rankings. And let's just jump right into it. Let's get into these quarterbacks in the passing attack. You mentioned it. This isn't just quarterback. We're not ranking, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. This is all around passing attack. So how much are they dependent on the pass? The skill position players around them. Offensive line can play a factor if you want it to. So I'll start us off here. Wow. Okay. At number 4, I'm gonna go with the Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson is probably at this point the 3rd best quarterback in this division. And when you look at the skill position players around him, I'm excited to see Russ in Denver. And Jerry Jeudy's a stud, right?
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, if he stays healthy. KJ Hamler, if he stays healthy. Tim Patrick, I get it. The reason I put them at 4 is I think they're going to be a very balanced attack. I think they're going to pound the rock with those 2 running backs, specifically Javonte Williams takes a leap this year again. I think he gets more playing time than he did last year. And I just feel they're not going to sit back and drop Russ back 39, 42 times a game. I don't see it happening. And with the weapons around him, I like them. Trust me. It's not who I have at number 3. So I have the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson at number 4 as in terms of passing attack. At number 3, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. Like I said, Derek Carr is probably the worst quarterback in this division of the four, but the addition of Devontae Adams just does so much. And I'm a Derek Carr guy. We were talking about it before the show. He's probably not top 10, but he's fringe 10. And he showed a big improvement last year, got his team to the playoffs, protected the football more than he had in previous years. I think he leads the NFL in late game comebacks or when his team's trailing by in the final 2 minutes. But the addition of Devontae Adams, you're talking about arguably the best receiver in all of the National Football League. You're talking about Darren Waller, who's a solidified top 4 or 5 tight end, if not a little bit higher on that list. You're talking about Hunter Renfrow, who I'm pretty sure got paid this offseason by Vegas. Their receiving core, their skill position players are loaded, and I think Devontae Adams makes Derek Carr a top 10 quarterback this year. At number 2, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. This sounds so incredibly weird because I still think he's the best quarterback in the league. I know there's a lot of Josh Allen talk happening, and Josh Allen, to some people, has already surpassed Patrick Mahomes in their rankings this year. I think the loss of Tyreek Hill is substantial. And I think the addition of Juju, I think Mahomes rejuvenates Juju's career a little bit. Valdez-Scantling apparently has looked great in off-season workouts with them, and he was a deep threat in Green Bay with Rodgers, so he's not going to have a tough transition going from Rodgers to Mahomes. You still have Travis Kelce. You know they're going to throw the shit out of the ball, but I love Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. Austin Eckler catches the ball almost more than any other running back in the National Football League. They're going to throw the ball 45 times a game, most likely, if not. So they're going to be heavily dependent on their passing attack. Herbert's what? Top 7, top 6 right now in the league. He's a rising star. And then with the skill position players around him, I love this passing attack. I'm going to put Chargers 1, Chiefs 2, Raiders 3, Broncos 4. And I only put Broncos 4 because I think they're going to be the most balanced team in terms of rushing the ball and passing the ball. And I don't think they're going to rely heavily on Russ to do a lot for them like the other 3 teams are going to.
Yeah. I think that's a fair way to look at it. Just to start my rankings off here, I got the Broncos coming in at number 4. For a lot of the same reasons. One, their weapons don't blow me off of compared to the other weapons.
They're nice. Jerry Jeudy's nice. Cortland Sutton's nice.
We got to see if Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton, or maybe even both, with now a good quarterback, can they take their game to the next level, become one of those elite wide receivers that we talk about? I do love the running backs, but that's just that. That's why you love the running game. That's why you like the balance of Denver. And I ultimately think, as the season goes along, if they don't start out, with kind of a balanced passing and rushing attack, by the time it gets cold in Denver, they're going to be running the goddamn football. So when you have Javonte Williams back there, you bring Melvin Gordon back, you're going to run the football. And I think they, the Broncos, when you talk about surrounding, I mean, we'll get into all of that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Broncos coming in at number 4. Raiders number 3 for me. I agree with you there. It really comes down to the respect I have for the other 2 quarterbacks. In reality, that it's as simple as that. Arguably, the Raiders have the best weapons in the division. I know. They probably do. Chiefs number 2. I'm with you. It's the weapons. I look at the Chargers. I think when you look at the Chargers this season, and I think this feeds right into their passing offense, not a lot of moving parts. And everyone else in the division, moving parts. You have a new quarterback in Denver. You have the Raiders bringing in a number 1 wide receiver.
Number 1.
That's a great thing. It's just it's new. It's different. The Chiefs, obviously, they lose Tyreek Hill. That changes their entire offense. You bring in MVS. You bring in Juju. How do they fit into the offense? So I guess the thing I'm looking at with the Chargers passing offense is stability, Justin Herbert, and then you talk about Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, so on and so forth. They added Gerald Everett, which is a solid tight end now. I like the Chargers passing offense. And I think the key here is that Justin Herbert, while no, he's not better than Mahomes, he's right there. So I think that's why I have to bring in the Chargers at number 1 with you there.
So George says, I feel like Mahomes is going to have to shoulder the team like Russ has in the past for the Chiefs to win the division. It's going to be extremely difficult for their reign to continue this year, dude. George is going with Chargers 1, Denver at or close to. Interesting. Raiders 3, Chiefs 4. He
Is
says
that
Russ is the
for
X factor in
overall?
Denver. I don't. Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I could be wrong there. Yeah, he might not be talking about passing attack. Can Waller and Jacob stay healthy? That's
Great
another
question.
huge question mark for them. And you also have to wonder, Scotty. You talked about moving parts and the key addition of Devontae Adams. While it's a great thing, Darren Waller's targets, Darren Waller's catches, Darren Waller's numbers could either improve or drop
Yeah,
because is Devontae Adams, going to catch 102 balls this year, or
right.
is Darren Waller going to catch 87 balls this year because Devontae Adams is getting so much attention on the other side, and you still have Hunter Renfrow running around over there. Again, that was probably the toughest ranking we'll ever do when you're talking about. Oh, he's talking about passing attack.
Oh, okay.
But interesting. He says the run sets up the pass. Get going Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos. It's all connected, dude. It's again, we're not going to do a tougher 1 through 4 there. You're talking
Yeah.
about probably the best division of quarterbacks in NFL history. You'd have to go back and find me one better. And real quick, George is talking about how Russell Wilson in Denver, how Russell Wilson is a huge X factor, 100%. Derek Carr has the ability to literally crack top 10 and if not higher this year, just in terms of production and numbers, and if the team can have success. Because again, we talk about how there's no excuses for Jalen Hurts here in Philadelphia with the weapons around him. It's time for Derek Carr. I know it's not fair in this division.
Yeah.
It's time for Derek Carr to take this team to the next level because they brought in the best wide receiver in the game. And yeah, we really are, man.
Yeah.
Scotty, lead us off with your rushing attack. This one's going to be interesting too.
Yeah. It's interesting, and I get what George is saying there. About it all being connected in the running game, the run game with the Broncos. It could set up the pass really nicely. I think I just want to see if Russ can build that consistent chemistry with those receivers off the top of the season. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think when it comes to those passing rankings, there's no wrong order. I don't think there's an argument for all of these teams. For Russian offense, number 4, I'm coming in with the Chiefs, and it's for a lot of the reason I think, as far as George pointed to, I think a lot of it's going to be put on Patrick Mahomes' shoulders. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they lost Darrell Williams. Who's their backup running back now behind?
Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones, I mean, that's solid. Jerick McKinnon, solid. But once again, I think, just as these running backs have mostly been since Mahomes and this prolific passing offense have been around, they're going to be a running committee. They're going to get touches here and there. There will be times where the Chiefs need to feel they need to prove that they'll run the football and they'll get the touches. But this is going to be Patrick Mahomes' offense. Number 3, coming in with the Las Vegas Raiders for a lot of, once again, pointing to my man George's comments there. Can Josh Jacobs stay healthy? Will they stay committed to the running game? You have a multitude of weapons out there on the outside with Renfrow, Adams, and Waller, like you've mentioned. So do you commit? Do you stick to the run? It is a Josh Jacobs prove-it year, though. So that's an interesting side. We talked about Miles Sanders' contract extension year. This is Josh Jacobs. The Raiders, I believe, declined his 5th-year option of his rookie deal.
I think you're right, yeah.
Which is interesting. So they're willing to let him walk possibly unless he can really turn it up this season and prove his worth, which will be interesting. But I got the Raiders at number 3, Russian attack. Chargers, number 2. I think, it's interesting with the Chargers because, like you said, there was so many times last season where the Chargers kind of abandoned the run. But then there were times where their head coach is like pounding the table saying he's going to run the football. So I need him to follow through with that. I think Brandon Staley, I think he's a good coach out there in LA. But you got to stick to the run. Use Austin Eckler. But when you got Justin Herbert, I get it. It's hard to stick to the run when you got that talent at QB. But Austin Eckler's a monster, as you mentioned. He touched the end zone so many times last season. It was ridiculous. Number 1, Broncos. I've mentioned it several times on this show. I'm a huge Devontae Williams fan. Really, really didn't want them to sign Melvin Gordon for my own selfish reasons for fantasy football. I want Javonte Williams to get all the carries, but nonetheless, that's a tremendous running back duo, running back committee. And the Broncos run the damn football. They're not afraid to do that, especially with their history of quarterbacks. And I don't think that will change, like we mentioned in that first part about the passing offense. I don't think that's going to change too much with Russell Wilson. I just think Russell Wilson will be able to pick his spots a lot better than what they've had in the past, and they'll be able to work the offense that way. But Broncos number one rushing attack for me.
Hey, man, I don't got much to say. We have the same order here in terms of the rushing offense. Just to run through it real quick, I do agree. Yeah. I think the Chiefs, again, you talk about being so pass heavy. You got to figure Mahomes is going to throw 42 plus times per game, like on average. They're not going to run the ball a lot. Clyde Edwards-Helaire kind of came onto the scene his rookie year. But they grabbed him at the end of the first round, I believe, on draft night 2 years ago. And he had a very good rookie year. Got injured last year, took a step back. Ronald Jones is nice, like you said, had fumbling issues last year in Tampa Bay. So I have the Chiefs 4. Raiders, it's a huge X factor if Josh Jacobs can stay healthy. If he doesn't, I put the Chiefs above him. Because what are you going to do if you're Vegas without Josh Jacobs in terms of running the ball? Austin Eckler, I love Javonte Williams too. Austin Eckler is the best running back in this division, but that is heavily dependent on his pass catching ability as well. He catches a ton of balls out of the backfield. And like you said, the duo of Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon is awesome in Denver. They're going to be the most balanced team. They're going to run the ball the most out of all of them. One thing I would like to see them do, they were very strict to how they rotated them to last year. Like, they went possession by possession, something you don't really see a lot of anymore in the league. And I don't want to see too much of that again this year. I agree with you. I think it's nice that they brought back Melvin Gordon, but this should be Javonte Williams' job. The kid is a horse. He's physical. He'll run you over, and then he's got the second gear when he gets into the secondary. And can take it to the house on you as well. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. I would use Javonte Williams. He should at least get 20 touches a game, if not more. And then Melvin Gordon can sprinkle in around 10 carries a game, somewhere around there. But yeah, I agree. Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs in terms of rushing attack. Getting to the defensive side of things, again, going to be interesting because as explosive as these offenses are, the defenses, there's definitely a drop off in terms of defense, but there's still pieces around these defenses that are intriguing to me. So in terms of pass defense, their secondary, I got to go back for a second here. I guess, dude, this is really tough in terms of 3 and 4 because I don't think either secondary of these two teams are good. I guess I'm going to go Raiders 4 and Chiefs 3 in terms of pass defense. I love these two teams' defensive fronts more than I do their secondary. You think back with the Chiefs to the AFC divisional round last year, watching with Josh Allen, and I know it's Josh Allen, but watching the performance they put out, and like you said, they lost Travarius Ward, they lost Tyrann Mathieu, their leader, Sorensen, who got toasted 800 times last year. Even he's gone. He's in New Orleans with Tyrann Mathieu as well. So they got beat up in the back end. But I just look at this Raiders secondary on paper. I mean, dude, Jonathan Abram, okay. Rock Ya-Sin, Trayvon Mullen. I don't love this Raiders secondary at all. So I'll put them 4, Chiefs 3. And then again, this is where things get interesting, man. I think I'm going to go Broncos 2. I love their secondary. Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons is a stud. Pat Surtain is a stud. Ronald Darby, you don't know what Ronald Darby you're going to get week to week, but I just look at the addition of J.C. Jackson as a huge upgrade for the Chargers. Derwin James is a top 3 safety in the league. If he's healthy, he's up there for number 1. Asante Samuel Jr. had a very good rookie year. He's kind of that ball hawk on the other side of the field from J.C. Jackson. So I'll go Chargers 1, Broncos 2, very close there. Then I think there's a drop-off, and Raiders, Chiefs are very close to each other, but I'll put Chiefs ahead of the Raiders. You are muted, my friend.
No, I got allergies going on, so I don't want people to hear me sniffing my nose and stuff. All right, so passing and what I said, I was just saying I did like the rankings there. I have very similar, but I get where you're coming from. It's at 4. I got the Chiefs at number 4,
Okay.
and it is because they lost Tyrann Mathieu, Travarius Ward, um, and their pass rush. I think that's kind of what separates me as well. I like the Raiders' pass rush a lot more than the Chiefs. I don't know. As we look at the Chiefs, I mean, they got a lot to prove on that defensive end. You talk about Tyrann Mathieu, who, while the Chiefs' offense, I look at them losing those 2 guys in Matthew and Ward. I'm like, what is their passing defense going to look like? But it wasn't good before. It wasn't good last season either. So while they lose those 2 guys, those are 2 big pieces. It was never good to begin with. So maybe trying something new is better. Still don't trust it. Tyrann Mathieu is a guy that made key plays for that defense in big moments. Number 3, I'm going with the Raiders. I have to put them down there. I'm with you. It's the same thing, similar reason. You could probably change Chiefs and Raiders. Maybe you put Chiefs ahead just because their defensive coordinator is a little bit better. Maybe they've got a little bit better history, a little more experience. Right. But the Raiders, once again, the only reason I have them above the Chiefs is because of guys like Max Crosby and Chandler Jones rushing the quarterback. I do like Rock Ya-Sin, but he's not a number 1 corner, and who is going to be that guy for the Raiders? That'll be interesting to find out. Number 2, I'm with you. Broncos. I love the Broncos defense. It's really hard to pick between them and the Chargers. I do love that they picked up Kwan Williams. That's somebody we talked about with the 49ers. One of the best slot corners in the league, and I think that's something that is becoming more and more needed, especially within this division, right? So you talk about the Hunter Renfros of the division that run a lot in the slot. You'll be able to match Kwan Williams right up with him one-on-one. So I think, you look at things like that sets the Broncos up nicely. Got a guy, Ronald Darby. I know he gets picked on by the Eagles fans. He's still serviceable, especially when he has better pieces around him.
Yeah.
Number 1, obviously, have the Chargers. I'm with you. Derwin James, top safety. He's a playmaker. But then you throw in Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa in the pass rush attack. And then Asante Samuel, J.C. Jackson. You talk about this secondary. Obviously, I already talked about Derwin James. Nazir Adderley is an underrated safety as well. These guys are ball hawks, and they're going to get a lot of interceptions. J.C. Jackson, I believe, led the league in interceptions with – no, I'm sorry. Don't let me not throw Diggs under the table. He didn't beat Diggs, but he was up at the top of the league, especially over the last 2 seasons in interceptions. So J.C. Jackson, huge addition. Asante Samuel's opportunistic cornerback as well. Ball hawk, gets that from his father. So I really like what the Chargers are doing there on passing defense.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I do think there's definitely a divide within these 4 here, and you can interchange 3 and 4, like you said. I think, but I think you have 3 and 4 Raiders, Chiefs. Don't like either secondary. And then you have a step up to the Broncos Chargers. I give the Chargers the edge, but I do really like the Broncos defense and the Broncos secondary as well. In terms of rushing defense,
yeah,
where are you going here? Or rush defense slash pass rush? Their front 7 really.
Are you able to hear me and everything? I got the Wi-Fi signal up at the top.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. You're good.
Okay, cool. So I'll get this in quick then. Number 4, I got the Raiders coming in. Now, the Raiders could improve. They've added a few pieces in the linebacking core. I do like Denzel Perryman. He's a tackling machine. Mekhi Kaiser, he's actually a backup linebacker now behind Jayon Brown. I like some of their guys, but once again, unproven defense. Got to see it to believe it. Got the Raiders coming in at number 4 for me. And I think, once again, these 2 teams, you could argue, one ahead of the other, one behind the other. I think the Chiefs, coming in at number 3 for me. I don't trust their defense the more and more I look at it. Once again, lost key pieces, key leaders in that defensive unit. And I'm just not sure with their defense. It was a defense that got pushed around last season, and they've only lost pieces. Number 2, I got the Broncos. Once again, I think there's a little bit of separation between the top two and the bottom two. I think the Broncos and the Chargers, they by far have the two best defenses in the division. But Broncos coming in at number 2. I got Chargers at number 1. Really just a preference of players up front. That's all it is. Both of them have tremendous front sevens. I just tend to like the Chargers a little bit more. But that's my list of rushing defenses there.
Once again, I'm on board with you. I think 1 and 2 are not interchangeable because I do think that the Chargers, with the addition of Khalil Mack, like they went out, and I love what they did this offseason, Scotty, just to combine this into a whole and then get into rankings.
Yeah,
like you said, there's a lot of movement offensively for the other 3 teams, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs they've set the standard in this division for the last 3+ years, right? And every other team's trying to play catch up. Well, what do the other teams go out and do? The Raiders add Devontae Adams, right? The Denver gets their quarterback. They go get Russell Wilson. The Chargers already have their guy. They already have their core in place offensively. They don't change offensively. They go out. They added J.C. Jackson as corner number 1, which gives them a huge boost. And then what do? I know he's another year older. You go out and get one of the best pass rushers in all of football in Khalil Mack to put him across from Joey Bosa. So whoever you want to have a better year, like either Joey Bosa is going to be even more dominant now with Khalil Mack across from him, or Khalil Mack has a bounce back year from a down year last year in terms of sacks and numbers because Joey Bosa is across from him on the other side of the line. So I think that the Chargers had the edge with number 1. I really like Bradley Chubb and Denver's front 7 as well. Then you have a slight drop off. The Chiefs are interesting to me a little bit. I love Max Crosby, so I'll give the edge there. Jonathan Hankins, Chandler Jones, that addition as well, which I forgot about for a second, was key for Vegas. But the Chiefs, Chris Jones and Frank Clark. Frank Clark, if he can stay healthy, is a monster as well. But man, I'll go Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, Chargers. I actually think the Raiders might have a slight argument for number 2 up there with Denver, but that's that. Now here's the fun part. We get to take everything into account. Take the front sevens, take the secondary, take the quarterbacks, the offense, the balance. How is this division going to play out standing wise come playoff time? Oh man. Okay. At number 4, this pain.
I don't even feel comfortable saying mine, honestly. I don't feel
it pains me to say, not pains me, but it's weird to say. I had the Raiders finishing 4th. Though again, it's so awkward because whoever I put at number 4, I can make an argument for why they could win the division. So I'm not putting them at number 4. They could make the playoffs. I have no idea. But if I have to rank them and how I think this ends up, I'm going to put the Raiders 4 simply because of what's ahead of them. I believe Derek Carr finishes this year top 10 as a top 10 quarterback. The addition of Devontae Adams, I think, helps them greatly. But with what's ahead of them, I know people are not down on, but I've seen a couple people on Twitter think that the Broncos are getting overhyped and Russ in Denver is getting overhyped. I love the fit, dude. Denver's young but talented. And for the last 2 seasons, all they've really needed is a quarterback. They didn't just go get a quarterback, Scotty. They went out and got Russell Wilson, another year older, coming off another injury last year. I get it, but I think it's the perfect fit. It's perfect balance. They can run the football. They have a very good, young, talented defense that can help them out on the other side of the field. I think they'll finish 3rd, though. Why? Because, again, of what's ahead of them. Now, here's where things get interesting. Is the Chiefs' reign over in terms of running the AFC West and winning this division? I'm going to go with yes. The Chiefs make the playoffs. No doubt about it. The Chiefs win probably 11 games this year. I'll put them right around 11-6. I haven't gone over their schedule fully. I'll put them right around 11-6. But I think the Chargers from top to bottom are so damn talented. And while I do think Patrick Mahomes is getting slightly disrespected by like the change of guard for some people, now that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league to some people, I disagree with that. But like you said earlier in the show, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert just keeps climbing, and here he comes, and here he comes. The weapons around him, Austin Eckler, the additions of Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson defensively, I can't talk about it enough. They're humongous for them. I think the Chargers, you can make a case that they win 13 games this year. That they go 13-4, somewhere around there. They're that talented to me. Justin Herbert is another year older, another year in the league, another training camp under his belt. I'm going Chargers win this division. I'm going Chiefs second, make the wild card, probably the number 1 wild card. And then I think the Broncos could get a wild card. The Raiders could get a wild card. But that's how I'm going to rank this tough-ass division.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. It's a tough division, and I feel awkward like putting these teams where they are, but it is what it is. We'll see how it all pans out, and I think overall is we're basing this off of what has been proven and what is not, what is unproven, and I think that's why the Raiders fall at number 4 by default. Derek Carr, while he is arguably a top 10 quarterback, should be a top 10 quarterback this season. He's not. He's the worst quarterback in this division. That sounds really bad, but he's the worst quarterback in this division. And they're once again bringing in new moving pieces. I'm not a huge fan of their defense. I think they have a great pass rush with Max Crosby and Chandler Jones there. That's going to create havoc, but I'm not a huge fan of their defense overall. So I got the Raiders at number 4. Number 3 with the Broncos. I'm with you. It's so weird, but I look at these other teams. I think, when I look at the Chiefs, I got to give them respect just out of what they've done the last few years, the system that they have in place and the stability that they have in place with Mahomes and Andy Reid. And then the Chargers, once again, we've already talked about what they've done, coming from last season going into this season. But Broncos number 3, while I say that, either one of those teams at the bottom there, they could win the division, like you said. The Broncos could have an outstanding season. They could literally win this division. They could win 12 games if Russell Wilson stays healthy, really grabs this offense by the horns. I got to see it to believe it. It's more or less just unproven to me at this point, with all due respect. Number 2, Chiefs, man. And the Chiefs, it's a tough conversation here because you don't want to disrespect them. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, arguably the worst roster in the division, aside from their quarterback. You talk about a quarterback that is kind of catapulting their team. I think George hit it on the head earlier in the show in the comments. He's going to have to pass the goddamn ball so much, and he's going to have to get guys open. He's going to have to teach guys on the fly. You talk about them bringing in new guys. They bring in a rookie, Sky Moore. There's just going to be a lot going on. But with that being said, I feel that Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Eric Bieniemy, they can figure it out. They can put something together. I'm going to instill my trust and give them the due respect. But I will tell, I think I texted you this yesterday because I was just started looking at like some of the schedules. Yeah. Bro, the Chiefs, their schedule, don't get me wrong, all of these guys' schedules are brutal because they're playing each other.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs have that brutal schedule because they were the 1 seed last year in this division. Whereas teams like the Chargers, they don't make the playoffs last year, and that's actually a good thing for this season when you look at their schedule. But just looking at the Chiefs' first 8 games, I believe it is. You start the season with the Cardinals. Okay, it's the Cardinals. They're not great, but they're still a playoff team. Chargers, week 2. Colts, week 3. Bucks, week 4. Raiders, week 5. Bills, week 6.
Wow.
49ers, week 7. And then Titans, week 8.
Can I say something?
We'll see.
Can I say something? I don't mean to sound disrespectful. I might have to take back my 11-win stance. That's you're pulling, and you're not even talking about after that point. You still have the Chargers again, the Raiders twice, the Broncos twice, or again. Like, wow.
So then they get a break after the Titans. They get the Jags, but then right back at it. Chargers, Rams, Bengals, Broncos. Then you get the Texans, Seahawks. Okay. Then Broncos and Raiders to finish the season, bro. I mean,
listen.
Rams, Bengals in there as well. You're talking about the 2 teams who were in the Super Bowl in the latter half of the season.
That's after Bills, Bucks, Cardinals, Colts.
They're running through the gauntlet.
Wow. I'm going to go back because I didn't. When I make these standings, these are just off of my thoughts and projections. I haven't gone through and went like week 1, win or loss, week 2, win or
Yeah,
loss for these teams. I'm going to go back and do that later.
yeah,
And I'm going to see because that's
tough.
incredibly tough. And I will not bet against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I won't do it. And I do think that the offense is going to look different clearly without Tyreek Hill. You're talking about
Yeah,
the best big play threat in the league.
yeah,
However, Mahomes, I don't think takes a step back. Like I think they still have
right.
Kelsey, they still have McCole Hardman, and you brought in Juju and Valdez Scantling, who no, they're not Tyreek Hill in any stretch of the imagination. But I think they'll fit seamlessly into this
Yeah,
offense, and he'll still put up big numbers. But goddamn, dude,
it's brutal.
that's tough.
So that's ultimately why I got them. Well, I won't say that's why I got them at number 2. Ultimately, that could be why they moved down even further from number 2
Right.
in
And I
reality.
think something else we didn't discuss yet is the fact that everybody else in this division got better and
Exactly.
they've done nothing but maybe get worse. They did
Yeah,
get worse as a roster. You lose
yeah,
Tyreek Hill, you got worse no matter who you
yeah,
bring in. You lose the pieces you did on your defense and in your secondary, you got worse and you
yeah.
added nothing. So,
Exactly. It's concerning, and that's kind of like it's kind of been the theme here. And when we point to number 1 here with the Chargers, and I think the Chargers they're picking up a lot of steam right now, but I think it's for a reason. I think it's the way they're built. You have the young quarterback that is ready to go. He's ready to ascend right now, put himself in that MVP combo. You have the weapons on the outside. You have the running back. You have the offensive line. You have the go to offensive tackle when you talk about Rashawn Slater, one of the best tackles in the league in his second season. And then you go to the defense, which is the key here. And you mentioned that earlier in the show, so I don't need to, harp on it too much. But you go out, you stabilize that defense, you add star power, you add playmakers to that defense, legit players at their positions. And now you look like you have the best defense in the division. And by my rankings, they do. And then on top of it, you have the second best quarterback in the division. We'll see how that pans out, man. But I got the Chargers number 1 as well.
100%. So I'm actually surprised within such a tough division like this, we
We
have the
agree.
same rankings. But again, I think you reading that schedule off, it did. I took a step back. I'd have to go back, and maybe it's tough to go through every game at this point.
I would need to look at the
But
Broncos schedule again just to see what that's looking like because arguably, and the Raiders too. You got to see what they're looking like. A lot of it's just so hard to measure because a lot of it's going to come down to these games where these teams are going head to head.
yeah,
And pick your poison on picking winners of any of these matchups. In reality, I mean, the
yeah,
Raiders
dude.
came out and beat the Chiefs last year, right? Chargers beat the Chiefs last year with Tyreek Hill. So we'll see, man. It's going to be an interesting as hell in this division.
100%, buddy. But before we wrap this show up, we'll try to go through this one a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up. Get to our AFC West all division draft. Let me share my screen here. Did you have the first pick last week
I
with the
think so.
NFC West?
I think so.
I think you did. Because we didn't go quarterback first like we had in previous weeks. I forget where you went. Oh, you went tight end, didn't you? Or no?
NFC West. Yeah, I think I go George Kittle? Maybe. I might
Yeah,
have
you did.
George
Yeah,
Kittle.
to get the edge there. So yeah, all right. So I'll start this week off. It's interesting, man. I'm gonna go linebacker. I'm gonna go Joey Bosa.
Okay, I like
I
it.
want to grab what I think is probably the best pass rusher in the division.
I don't usually do this. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my guy Devontae Adams, wide receiver.
All right.
I don't do that often, but I love me Devontae Adams.
Wow. This is gonna be difficult just because of how there is a lot of talent in this freaking division here.
Just for clarity, are we counting? Because I see the way they have Khalil Mack listed. Are we counting him as like an edge, or are we counting him as a linebacker?
I was gonna put him as a linebacker.
Okay.
Like I put Joey Bosa as a backer, right? Yeah, he's listed as a linebacker, so that's
Listed
where.
as a backer, yeah.
Yeah, so is Khalil Mack, so that's fine. I'm gonna go Max Crosby here on the edge.
Nice. I am gonna go. I'm gonna go Derwin James at the safety spot.
All right. I'm gonna go J.C. Jackson.
I like that. Okay, so I am gonna go. Let me grab Chandler Jones, pass rusher.
He's listed. Is he listed as an edge or linebacker?
He is listed as an end. Yeah, an edge.
As an end. Okay.
Yeah.
Chandler Jones. Again, man, this starts to get tough here. There's Bradley Chubb. There's Randy Gregory. I forgot about that addition for Denver.
Yeah, that's a nice addition.
Frank Clark is still there. You know what? I want to go out and grab Pat Surtain.
Oh, sure up that cornerback spot.
Yeah, there we go.
I am going to grab Chris Jones at the defensive tackle spot.
All right. Two C Joneses for you.
Right.
I'm going to take Khalil Mack.
Yeah. I think I just clicked over to the Chargers roster and I was thinking that too. Okay, let's see here. So I have a safety, got no linebackers, got a tackle and a edge. Let's see here. Yeah, let me grab. Who have you grabbed so far? Let me grab Frank Clark. At edge.
It's listed as a back. Oh, an edge. Okay.
Yeah, he is listed as right defensive end.
Frank Clark. All right. Let's see. Where do I want to go now? This is tough, man. You already scooped him. You know what? I'm going to go out and grab Darren Waller.
Okay. Nice.
That's the thing with these drafts. You got to you went out and got Adams. You got to try to find an advantage here and there because every other position is going to be so tight.
No, I feel that. Who did I just have my eyes on? Oh, Justin Simmons from Denver, safety.
Damn, sure, I haven't even grabbed safety. But I guess I can kind of wait on that now.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the players.
Huh. Jonathan Purcell, Hankins, or Sebastian Joseph. No, he's an edge. I don't want to go there yet. I guess I'm going to go Hankins for now.
That's probably what I would go to there. Okay. Let me grab Keenan Allen, my other wide receiver spot.
Oh okay. All right. Wow, this is interesting, dude. Austin Eckler or Javonte Williams? I'm going to take Eckler. I think.
Yeah, I would lean Eckler.
Yeah, but I do love me some Javonte Williams.
Eckler's just more well-rounded, I would think, right now.
Yeah. Bro, I am an idiot.
What?
No. Oh my god. What did I do? I completely skipped over him.
I think I know what you.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. I forgot the division. Oh my god. Take him. No.
Yeah. I think I know Travis Kelce.
Yeah. Yup. I completely.
I let it go. I didn't want to backtrack.
Oh my god. Is that where you're going?
Okay, I was like, maybe he just prefers Darren Waller over.
No, I 100% don't.
You're up there.
I was on the Raiders chart, on the Raiders depth chart, and I was like, "Oh, let me grab this. Let me grab the tight end," because I was looking. I think my mind went Chargers, Broncos, and their tight ends. I'm like, oh, they don't. This is the best tight end. And I
Not
completely,
it's unproven, but yeah.
I completely skipped over Kansas City. Oh, that's a killer.
That's a draft changer, bro.
Oh my God, you have Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, and Travis Kelce. What did I do?
Oh yeah, man. It's funny. I saw it. I was like, oh, because I thought about taking Kelce first.
You sneaky bitch too, because you were like, oh, okay. When I said Darren Waller. And I'm sitting over here like an idiot talking about getting an advantage in a category, completely forgetting about Kansas City and Travis Kelce. Oh my
man.
God.
Wars in the
Oh
draft
my
room.
God.
All right, man. I'm gonna take. Oh, it's your turn. My bad. I'm trying to take your turn. That's a
Dude,
game changer.
that's a gut punch, bro. And now I need an edge, and I don't even like Karlaftis. Do I take Karlaftis here? Or no, I'll go Sebastian Joseph Day, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think you could go wrong with either of those. I'm gonna go Bradley Chubb he is listed wide side linebacker.
I mean, dude, you know what? I know there's not much of a drop off, but I'm taking Mahomes.
I feel that. That is the way you can get
right, slightly, because you're fine with Justin Herbert. Trust me, you're good.
For
Oh
sure.
my God, this just ruined my day. This ruined my entire day. Why did I do that?
And then I need a defensive tackle. But I mean, Mike Purcell, Deshaun Williams. I don't know. This is hard. I think I'm gonna go with Derek Noddy from the Chiefs at D tackle.
Yeah, I think it's like NN.
Yeah, NNADI.
I'm just gonna take Purcell at this point. What else going on there?
All right, so I need a corner. I'll take Asante Samuel Jr.
Let's see. All right, we know we can just. What do I want to do here? Adderley. Yeah, I guess I'm going to take Nazir Adderley.
Yeah. I'm going to take L'Jarius Sneed at my other corner from the Chiefs.
All right, as my other safety, Javon Morig, Kareem Jackson, Juwan Thornhill, Justin Reed. Damn. It's kind of tough. They're all kind of in the same tier for me almost.
I know. That's how it was with the defensive tackles too. There's not many that stand out.
No. This is tough.
Justin Reed.
I know.
Jonathan Abram, Trayvon Morig. She's young. I like him. Kareem Jackson. He's solid too. For the Broncos.
Yeah, we'll probably go Kareem Jackson. All right, final two picks. You got a quarterback and a running back to get. Oh, actually, you have a backup too.
Linebacker. So, all right, let me just get the linebacker out the way. I'll just go. Yeah, I'll go Randy Gregory. Even though that's like a weird linebacking core with two edge rushers, two pass rushers.
Do we even have to post this team? Because you smoked me.
That Darren Waller was a game changer, man. I'm telling you.
No, and Darren Waller's still like top 4, top 5. But like, I just completely, I'm like, okay, Darren Waller, Chargers, Broncos, Darren Waller, best tight end in the division. And I just didn't even think to do it, dude. I didn't even look at Kansas City. Like, and people are probably listening to me like, who's this idiot talking? Like, as I'm like, I gotta get an advantage in this position group. Idiot.
It's just so funny when you realize it, man. That's what we got to clip up.
Oh my God. I guess I'm gonna take Jerry Jeudy. I'll go with the upside.
Yeah, you can go ahead and throw Javonte Williams there.
Javonte Williams and Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm typing Herbert in.
Jalen Hurts. Oh, I thought you were typing Hurts.
Williams, Justin Herbert. If I can type now. All right, I just got to grab another wide receiver, and then the draft's over. This part's tough too because it's like, is it Mike Williams?
Right. Who do you value more, like Mike Williams,
Hunter Renfrow? Yeah, I'll probably go Mike Williams.
Yeah, big threat.
All right, so let me just snag this. We'll get this graphic up, even though I kind of want this draft to be erased because I'm an idiot. Yeah, you kicked my ass in this one, dude.
I don't know. I mean, you definitely.
No, but listen, my team's really good. I get it.
Yeah.
But when you have Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, and Travis Kelce.
That offense trio, yeah. That's
Herbert. And it's like, I tried to grab an advantage at linebacker. So I started off, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go Bosa. I'm going to grab Crosby. I went and got J.C. Jackson. I tried to build the defense. And then I look at your defense, and it's like, there's not much of a drop-off, bro. Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory, Derwin James and Justin Simmons. Like, I mean, I give myself the advantage in corner.
Yeah.
You have the advantage in safety. Linebackers, tough. I'll say maybe my linebackers. I'll give your defensive line. Like, I grabbed Crosby early, but the rest of your line's solid. You have the better tight end. You wide receiver, running back, quarter. Like, it's both teams are really good.
It's interesting. We'll see how it plays out, man. Because I think if you really look at each position, it's actually pretty close. But I think the key, I guess, like, I don't know. When I was looking at, coming into the draft, I was either going to take Kelce or Adams first. But I see why you took Bosa because
I tried to go best pass rusher, but then oh man,
see how it plays out. Maybe you get surprised. Maybe they like your team. Man.
Yeah, maybe. All right, Scotty. This was one of the funnest episodes of Turf Talk we've done. This division was a lot of fun to break down, and later today, I'm probably going to go back and try to play out how week by week these teams do, and see how my projections go against what I end up looking at schedule wise, and see if it matches up. But guys, that is going to wrap up this edition of NFL Turf Talk with Dylan and Scotty. Thank you everyone who watched live, everyone who commented, George especially. If you're going to watch the replay, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, like this video, please, and thank you. Scotty and I will be back next Sunday. AFC East?
Yes, sir. AFC
breaking down the AFC East, which
and wide receivers.
And our top 10 wide receiver list. So that'll be out as well. We'll put that out on social media. Probably beforehand. We'll get that squared away before we go live. Right here on DSM Media, on our Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook channel. Thanks again, and everyone, go enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Come hang out with myself and George Ryder live here on DSM Media right around 12:30 for Phillies pregame live, as we see if the Fightins can go for the 4-game sweep against the Pirates. Scotty, enjoy the rest of your time in Maryland, my friend, and everybody have a great day.